How much would you say, Nathan, is the attitude and the belief in yourself? How important is that?
Oh, it is so important and not always easy because guess what? Life does happen and curveballs are thrown your way, but God will never pitch you something you cannot hit. So just know that. I was doing 277 live events in 201 cities just in the year 2019. I was never home, and that was hard on my marriage. It's hard on my family. And then God gave me a little bit of grace. He threw a little pandemic at us. And guess what? The whole world shut down. I went from 277 live events in 201 cities to zero. And it threw me into a funk. I started like turning into Charlie Brown again. And he needed to remind me of something. I went to a movie to get my mind off of things. That little dark theater, like we talked about. I don't even remember what I saw, but I know what I saw when I came out of that theater. My wife tried to help me forget about my stresses and things. And as I was leaving that theater, I noticed this poster. It was a James Bond poster, you know, those cardboard ones that there's in movie
Yep.
theaters in the hallways. And it said, "No time to die." And I thought, wow, that's a little deep right there, especially with how I'm feeling right now, just really down and poor me. Because this, I couldn't go out and do what I was doing. I couldn't sing. I couldn't go out and speak. And then I keep walking down the hallway, and the next poster really hit me in the face when it said onward. I start thinking, God is talking to me through movie posters. I had a little pep talk on the way out of that theater. It was almost as if I heard that same voice that I heard in that car that night saying to me, "My son, I placed you here on this earth at this time for a very particular reason. It's no time to die. I placed you here. Onward, son. Onward. Never give up." I felt like I was hearing this in my head as I read movie posters. And it's amazing that God can work in awesome ways. If we let go and let God and we just put our trust that there's something bigger and grander than all of us. It's kind of like that book, Man's Search for Meaning, Dr. Viktor Frankl, who survived 3 Nazi death camps. You see, his whole life work was in this briefcase that the Nazis ripped out of his hands and burned in a fire as they got him off of a train in a concentration camp. They ripped his wife out of his hands and his in-laws, and they all died. And he just watched his life's work go up in smoke and realized that that was bigger than him. And he needed to see himself beyond those barbed wires, beyond those machine guns and those towers. And that's what kept him alive. He said that his nightmares were greater than his reality. And so the thing is that he says in his book, Man's Search for Meaning, in the very first chapter, don't aim at success, for success, like happiness, cannot be pursued. It must ensue, and can only do so as an unintended side effect to one's dedication to a cause greater than oneself. And that's pretty fancy. So most people miss the point. So he sums it up in the next verse. He says, if you understand your why, you can endure almost anyhow. How is none of our business. You guys figured out the how, but the why had to be bigger than you. It was bigger than money. It was bigger than fame. It was bigger than anything that most people set their sights on when they want to be successful. What does success or awesomeness mean to you? You have to determine that, because I went to the cemetery out there in Connecticut, in New Haven. I saw Eli Whitney. He was buried there. And right next to him was this guy named Noah Webster, who created the dictionary. And I thought about that word that he didn't ever define, and that was awesomeness. He never defined what success really is, because that's not for Noah to determine. That's up to you. So my question for your listeners is, what does it mean to be successful? Because we'll all come up with different answers. Okay, as long as it's bigger than you, it's big enough. Because David Bach, who wrote the book, The Automatic Millionaire, Smart Women Finish Rich, he does the Oprah Debt Diet. We were backstage in New York City at the Copacabana. I was about ready to introduce him. I'd seen him on Oprah, and I was excited to introduce him because I read his books. And he comes up to me and says, "Nathan Osmond, do you want to be rich?" What do you think I told him? Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Who just says no to that question, right? He goes, "Ha, I got you." Everybody says they want to be rich. Here's the real question: why? And then we started talking about our wives and our kids and things that really mattered, and it got real, real fast. And that was bigger than money, right? Riches come when you do something well often, or don't do it at all. The point is that it has to be bigger than you. And so don't set your sights on success. Don't set your sights on money, fame, whatever. It's got to be bigger than that. And once you figure out what that why is, the how will take care of itself.